What is up everyone, today we'll be showcasing one of my favorite teams to run in the current Open Great League meta, Shadow Kanto Ninetales, Walrein and Pelipper. This team was highlighted in my favorite teams for Open Great League video, so if you want more teams, I highly recommend you check that out. Link down in the description below. Anyway, we're just gonna head into these battles and I'll explain more about the team while we're at it. This first game I have an amazing lead with Ninetales into the worst Ninetales, a low Ninetales, so they have to switch out into their Drapion. Now they go into Walrein. This is a pretty decent matchup for Walrein here. These Powder Snows are really adding up, and a couple more, and they're basically in range where an Icicle Spear should knock out. Unfortunately, I kind of mistimed my move, and we see him beat high here. They're probably not going to shoot this Icicle Spear, but I'm fine with that. The second one kills anyway, and I really don't want them to shoot an Earthquake, because that would put me in quite a bad spot. I need 5 more Poison Stings for the next crunch. I'm just going to throw the Icicle Spear at 4. No, they win the CMP. I can't throw in 5, I've thrown 4. They shield that up. I kind of want switch advantage, because they are currently double weak to Steel. They're double weak to Red Steel and double weak to Stunfisk. They need an answer for Steel in the back, which usually means Pelipper is strong. Most answers to Steel, like Swampert, Metacham, other fighters, Talonflame, are weak to Pelipper. So having switch here is nice, but it actually ends up being a Jellicent. This man doesn't care about Registeel, which is very unfortunate because my Pelipper just doesn't do that well here. I should be able to burn a shield at least, but I think they will outpace me to another move, which means my Kanto Ninetales will be up against the Jellicent. Unless I can reach the Hurricane, but I cannot. There should be a Shadow Ball and will knock out my Pelipper. Now it's all up to Kanto Ninetales to finish the job. Getting to the overheat here. Will this knock out the Jellicent? It's a big move. And it does. It does knock out the Jellicent. In comes the Alola Ninetales. And I get to the Weather Ball to knock it out. GG. Very nice game. By the way, you see my Ninetales is running Ember. That is a legacy move. You can only get it by using a Elite Fast TM. But it is not necessary. I like Ember. There's slightly higher like damage, so it's easier to farm stuff down, but Fire Spin is still very nice as well because you get to the move slightly quicker then. Anyway, next game, if the Metacham lead, I actually called the Ice Punch bait there, since they usually do bait, and now I'm gonna catch the second one on my Walrein, which might seem like a weird play, switching a Walrein to a fighter, but catching double resisted Ice Punch, definitely worth it. They're bringing a Registeel down. Unfortunately, I know they outpace me to multiple moves here. If we go for the Earthquake here and they shield, they're going to reach a move before I reach my next Earthquake. So I'm actually going to Icicle Spear bait here, expecting them to shield, and they do. That would have been quite devastating if they didn't, so I'm glad they did. Gonna go for the Earthquake now, really hoping this goes through, and it does. This is actually really good for me. Partially how this team works is that it's kind of ABB in a way that Walrein lures out the Steel. With Kanto Ninetales lead, if I don't see a Steel type in the lead, usually I want to save Ninetales for a potential Registeel. So I switch to Walrein, lure it out, then I kill the Registeel with either Walrein or Ninetales, and then once Registeel is gone, Pelipper can sweep. That's kind of how it works, though usually it is more complicated than that. Anyway, we see another Steel type in the back, which is definitely not ideal. It is a Skarmory, which I can Weather Ball multiple times. And I do have a Weather Ball stored on my Kanto Ninetales as well. So if the switch timer's up, I'm going to try to snipe this Skarmory with a Weather Ball. But unfortunately, that doesn't look to be possible. They have one move now, and I think they're close to another one. My timer just barely isn't up, and they're able to throw their move right before it is. Now, my Ninetales is almost dead. I throw one Ember, and I throw my move, and this is a huge mistake. I could have thrown another Ember there, alright? I could have thrown one more Ember there, and then I would have had the Weather Ball stored. It felt so risky though, since I felt like they could have switched. But no, I should have just thrown another Ember. I would have had 2 Weather Balls to throw back to back, and I would have won the game. That's very unfortunate, but it is what it is. We see another Metacham lead. Can we get Redemption? They throw their move at 8, which could be Psychic, but most of these Metacham shield, so or bait, so I'm not gonna shield it. It does end up being the Ice Punch. Luckily, go for the overheat, since most Metachams don't shield, but this one did, which is quite devastating. Honestly, in that matchup, I suggest you go for the Weather Ball 100% of the time. I think overheat is much too risky there. But at least I took a shield, I guess, and shield shields up Pelipper is quite nice, especially since they brought in the Drapion here, which I will Hurricane. Luckily, they didn't shield that. That would have been super devastating. But yeah, kill the Drape. What comes in now is the Medi. They throw their Ice Punch here. I'm gonna shield it up. I was very much considering no shooting this, maybe expecting a Power Punch, but I feel like if they had Power Punch, they would have thrown it into the Ninetales already. So it was very obviously Ice Punch. I shield it up, keep the shields. I bring in my Ninetales here, and unfortunately they bring in Skuntank, which is not ideal. They can farm me down before I get to the Weather Ball. Now I'm forced to bring in Walrein because my Pelipper doesn't have any play anymore. I'm just gonna shield this Crunch up. They threw this basically immediately, so I can overfarm a bit. Not gonna risk it though. I think could have overfarmed by like 2 more Powder Snows there, but there's no need. The Medicham is basically energy dry, so I can just throw 1 Powder Snow, 1 Icicle Spear, and that is a win, even with a failed bait at the start. Walrein and Pelipper were able to sweep GG. Alright, Altaria lead is one of the worst leads you can see. I bring in my Pelipper here, and they bring in Registeel, which is just absolutely terrible. Yeah, honestly, most of the time I wouldn't expect to win Altaria leads at all. But there is always a chance. I have beaten several, and who knows, maybe this is one of them. I also like changing up my play. I actually really don't like switching Pelipper into Altaria. I think generally it's better to just switch in Walrein and hope they don't have a counter. But it's kind of risky too. You kind of have to get shields down then, and then Hurricane the Altaria with Pelipper later. Whereas now, I just kind of, you know, lured out the Registeel, which is kind of fine as well. Actually, double shield. Here, hoping to burn some more shields or get switch here. I'm gonna go for the Weather Ball once I'm at double, and they actually decide to shield this, which is huge. I go for another Weather Ball. I'm really hoping they shield this too, because then their Altaria shields down. I can bring in my Walrein, farm down the Reggie, get close to an Icicle Spear, switch it out, and maybe snipe the Altaria later. They come in Altaria. Now this is quite painful because I don't think I'm able to reach the Hurricane, but my opponent makes a big error. A huge error. And they Sky Attack my Pelipper when I wasn't even at the Hurricane. They have Toxicroak now, which is not great for Kanto Ninetales either, but it's tanky. It's tanky. This is the Mud Bomb, which is super effective, but Ninetales is tanky. Mud Bomb is a shit move. Doesn't kill. I get to the Weather Ball. I basically have to shield this. They're also basically energy dry, which means I will be able to outpace this Toxicroak to a move with my Walrein. His Icicle Spear will knock him out, and then hopefully I'll be able to get to the Icicle Spear versus the Altaria before we just Sky Attack, and I will, and this will knock them out. Now my opponent played that quite wrong, but you know what? I will take that. I will take that. GG, we beat an Altaria lead. That doesn't happen often. Alright, what also doesn't happen often is Nidoqueen lead into Scrafty. Honestly, Nidoqueen lead, you might want to consider switching in Pelipper, since it's just a little safer. Since usually with Nidoqueen lead, it will be the Scrafty in the back. Now, sometimes I don't really mind this, since if they Power Punch there, you actually get the 2 Icicle Spears. And in that case, you have Shield Advantage. And with Shield Advantage, you can do a bunch. But without Shield Advantage, it's bad. So my opponent made a very good call there by going for the Foul Play bait, or the Foul Play actually, which kills my Walrein. And this puts me in a rough spot. I'm actually in a shield deficit. I've already lost a Pokemon, and my other mon is like at half health, so we're not looking too good. I go for the Overheat on the Umbreon. They let it go. I will switch into Pelipper. This is actually not over. This is not looking great, but it's definitely not over. I'm gonna Foul Play. I actually want to farm up as much as possible here before throwing my moves, just in case they decide to come in Nidoqueen. But as I say that, I don't do that here. I throw after 1. I should have overfarmed by 3 more. I thought I was gonna overcharge if I did that, but no. I would have been able to, and that would have allowed me to get the 2 moves here. Now I will survive this, but I won't be able to survive the Poison Jab afterwards. I really should have farmed up more versus the Umbreon. Like, throw 3 more Wing Attacks, I would still get the Weather Ball off before their Foul Play, and then I would have energy to go into the Nidoqueen matchup. That is unfortunate. Anyway, next game, we have an Alolan Ninetales lead. In comes Sableye. Walrein is your answer there. You outpace this thing severely. And the Icicle Spears just do a ton of damage combined with Powder Snows. Generally, you will need to go a shield down here. as Sableye can one-shot you with return, and double foul play also knocks you out, which they usually will get to. Like here, you don't have to shield this, it will bring you kind of low. But that's fine, that's less farm for the Alolan Ninetales, I guess, and you should still be able to get to the Earthquake, which is really good. And again, like I said in the beginning of the video, most commonly, usually, with an Alolan Ninetales lead, there'll be a Steel answer in the back, which Pelipper is really good against. Last time it wasn't true, but this time it's very true. Diggersby gets walled by my Pelipper, so they concede. GG. Alright, Bastiodon is a pain. You thought Altaria was annoying for his team. Bastiodon is the next level. It is really bad. If it's in the back, it's usually kind of fine because you can Earthquake with Walrein in the lead. It just sucks for you. I've beaten like one of them once with this squad, but in general, you should expect to lose. They bring in Sableye here too, which is not ideal for Pelipper. But you know what? That's actually also fine. It's also fine that you lose to Bastiodon since they're not that common, alright? I saw 1 in 4 sets. If I lose one game to Bastiodon in 4 sets, like guaranteed, I think that's fine. I think that's fine, because the team has a lot of play versus everything else. Now, I gotta hope I can farm down this Sableye, and it's, I don't know, something bad in the back that I can somehow deal with. But I know it's Metacham. This is always Metacham in the back. So I know it's impossible. I'm still gonna overheat though for science. I'm hoping they let this go. I wanna see how much this does, but they shoot it up unfortunately. I bring in my Walrein. Yeah, now it's done. Now I just know it's over, so I concede the match. GG. Alright. In comes another Nidoqueen lead. I again switch Walrein, because not every one of the Nidoqueens has Crafty in the back. This time it's not Scrafty, it's Galarian Stunfisk, and this is really great because Walrein Shadow just wins this in the 2 shield. Straight Icicle Spear. Even if they call my bait here, that is super, super fine. I don't mind because I win that anyway, just going straight Spear. They go for another Rock Slide, I shoot it up. I really want shields down at the very least, or a switch advantage. Another Icicle Spear. Now I can get to the Earthquake, but not before they get to the move. Honestly, I would have probably preferred to go for the Icicle Spear there. And CMP tie with a Rock Slide. That would be nice. Oh, I overfarm here so much. I was overfarming to the limit, alright? And my opponent makes a very good play by switching in their Nidoqueen and Poison Fanging me down before I could get off the move. I lost 100 energy right there, which is such a heads-up play by my opponent. Now this is going to be quite rough for me since they still have a Stunfisk with energy, which is why I overfarmed with my Pelipper here. And a Drapion, which is just not ideal. Gonna throw this Weather Ball at the 5th Poison Sting. I know I win CMP, so this should be a crunch now. Yes, I gotta let my Pelipper go. I know the Stunfisk is like 2 mud shots away from a move, from a Rock Slide now, which will kill after a crunch. So I kind of have to overfarm, save my energy from Ninetales. These Embers are doing a lot of damage though. I should be able to kill before the next crunch. I just gotta hope I can take out the Stunfisk, which comes out now. I throw the Weather Ball, this will knock it out, and then should be able to farm down the Drapion. So this was looking very, very grim when they sniped down my Walrein, but we were able to come through. So GG, that was the final battle. Hope you all enjoyed today's video. Definitely go give this team a go. It's very, very fun. Anyway, thank you all. Good luck with Battle Stringers.